So my favorite projects to make are quick and easy quilt projects that I can finish in a day. Hi, I'm Vanessa Vargas Wilson, the Crafty Gemini. I'm a sewing and quilt pattern designer and an online instructor, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a really cute and easy playmat pillow for kids. This is the pillow, this is how it looks on the outside, and when we open it up, it's great travel size for kids for road trips. Oop, here goes the little character that my daughter likes to use to play with. You can open it up, and it's a great sized little playmat that you can basically embellish and design, create any theme that you want. It can be as intricate as this with all these applique pieces, or as simple as the one that I have right here with the sharks on it. Those are just strips of fabric that my son uses as little cars and he does races on them. My daughter likes to take her little characters and walk them around her farm because we live on a farm. So let's show you how to start doing some different applique techniques to embellish your playmat. So we're going over here, we have an electronic cutting machine that we're using, and there's a lot of different things that you can do with this machine. One of them is just using the basic preloaded designs that are already on here. So to do that, what we've done is I've taken some scrap pieces of fabric, and if you see it's a little shiny on the back here, and that's a fusible adhesive. They're paper-backed fusible applique sheets that we used. I fused it already to the back side of my fabric, and before I stick it onto my cutting mat, I like to peel away the paper. It just makes for easier peeling off of the mat, okay? So I'm going to put these two pieces here, and you can see there's no specific order. I can use any size scraps, put them anywhere on the mat, because I'm going to show you how you can cut out the design by moving them over and putting them directly on the fabric that you want to cut. So let's start with this one. What we do is we load our mat into the machine. Now we can start selecting our patterns. On the pattern menu here, I'm going to go with the different kind of shapes. You can see there's different themes going on here. We'll go to this one. You see there's some animals. If you wanted to do animal theme, you can do that. There's tons of different designs on here. I'm going to go, there's a food right here, and then this one with the flowers, and this is the one that's going to have the tree that I want. I'm just selecting this design, and if you see on the menu right there on the screen, it'll show you a default design size, but you can totally change this to customize it. So if you wanted to do a bunch of trees, you can make some big, some small, and really give it that cool look. So here, let's just go with 4 inches, I think is okay for the height. Select OK. And then it gives you the two options, because we can do the top of the tree or the stem. So we'll do this one first. Select it, and the height is already set to default there for you, so we'll just select it at that. And you can see where the design is automatically placed. Now the green fabric I needed to cut is all the way over here, so I'm not just going to move it and eyeball it. The machine will actually scan in the fabric by pressing this little scan feature here. Start, stop. It's scanning in the fabric for you, and then the fabric is actually going to show up on the screen. So then you just move the design, and you'll see how easy it is to get it right to where you need it. So this is fabulous for using up scraps. I'm a quilter, and I have tons of scraps, and I love using them for little projects like this. So you can see here both my fabric pieces. Let's scoot the top of my tree right to where I want it. Somewhere here on the green is fine. And you can click OK, select the cut feature, and it'll start cutting it right there for you. So, another way that you can do different appliques is actually by fussy cutting, and that means that we use fabric that already has a design that we want on it. You can put this in the machine to cut around it, but this is just a small piece. I'm just going to use it by hand. So what we do, let's take it over to our pressing surface right here, and just lay the shiny side of the applique sheet right on top of what you want. Just fuse a little chunk there. I'm just going to cut out one little chicken. Okay? And then you can just cut directly around the design that you want. Super easy, okay? And the kids can help you with this. You can have them go through your stash and pick out different fabrics they want, and then just peel off the paper and fuse it right to where you want it, like I did here with this mama hen and her little chicks. So it's super easy. Let's come back here to our cutting machine. It's giving me the option now to select the next part, which is perfect, because I want to get ready to cut the stem. I already have my orange fabric for it, or the trunk, I should say. So B is right here, click OK, and we're just going to leave it at the default size. Remember, you can always change it if you want to, and just scoot it, since I already scanned in my fabric, right there. Click OK, cut, and start. Super easy. Okay, so you can see the little paper on this one. You can just peel it off, fuse it right into place. So that's fussy cutting. Let's scoot this out. And then let me peel off these from here so we can already fuse these onto our fabric. Let me unload. Just click the unload button, and that'll unload your mat in and out of the machine super easily. Okay? Peel this stuff off. And you can see it's nice, sticky mat, and it's the reason why you don't need any kind of stabilizer underneath to stick the fabric onto your mat. You can do it directly. So it's perfect. And remember, we already peeled the paper off, so I can fuse it right to wherever I want it. And I'll show you the trunk of the tree here. Look at that. Super smooth and easy, okay? So let's just do a quick sample here and show you how it would be fused. I can just load it into place. Say I want the little tree right there. Easy. Fuse it. And then we'll go back and stitch this down. But let me show you another method that you can use on this cutting machine, okay? We can do this. They have a scanner as well. So what I like to do is actually get my kids or even myself to draw designs, and you can cut them out. So it's a great way to kind of preserve your kids' drawings. They can do all kinds of things, and you can scan them right in and then cut them out of fabric. Let's go back to the main menu here. So we'll load our mat. And this time we're selecting the scan feature. So let's scan and scan to cut data, because I want to save the data to the machine's hard drive. You can do this for all your designs and save it on there or even onto a USB jump drive. So we'll just wait for that to scan it right in. Let me move this here. And let me show you how I stitch this down. A great tip that I have for my students is on a way to use up decorative stitches that come on your pricey machines. You probably only use the stretch stitch or the straight stitch or the zigzag, but there's so many other stitches on all the machines that you can get out there these days. So here's a sample. This is what I recommend to my students to do, is to make a little key of your stitches. An important thing you want to note is to make sure that the fabric is doubled up, because that's how you're going to be using the stitches, right? Through 2 layers of fabric, usually. And just write down the number at the bottom of what stitch it is. Keep it next to your machine. When you're working on a project that you'd like to embellish, it's a lot easier and better for you to see it visually on exactly how it's going to stitch out onto your project. So keep this by your machine, and I promise you, you're going to start using a lot more of those decorative stitches. In my case, I'm going to stitch this around, and this is just going to help make the whole project machine washable and dryable. And so let's start here on the trunk. I'm using a little blanket stitch. Okay, just to show you a little sample. Obviously, you would do it in a coordinating thread, but you can just go around all the edges like that and just secure it so it's a little bit more permanent, okay? So let's go back to the cutting machine here, the scan and cutting machine. So here's my design. Let's load up a little fabric here. Load it in. And the saved in design is going to cut right there. Again, let's do the scan feature so we see exactly where we're going to position it on our mat. And it's so easy because you can fill it up with tons of different things. Get your kids to draw on a bunch of paper and then just scan the whole thing in, and then you guys can go back in and select exactly which of them you want to cut out of fabric. So I mean, the creativity that you can do with this, I mean, it's so many creative projects really. So we'll scoot it over, make sure the little legs are in the shot, and then you can just set it to cut, and that'll cut right out for you. Now, once you have your complete play mat top, right, the one that's the kids are gonna be playing with, we need to create a little pocket for it. So to do that, super easy. We have 2 layers of fabric, layer them up, and the batting underneath, you're gonna stitch all the way around, make sure you leave an opening so we can flip the whole thing inside out. I like to go back and trim the corners, just like this one here, just to reduce some of that bulk. Give it a good press. And then the opening part, I'm going to center it on my backing fabric. Notice I've layered here the backing. You want to stitch this to the backing fabric first, okay? So we just fold it in half, crease it right there to get the center mark, and you repeat the same thing with your pocket. And then line up the center mark with the other center mark so you know that they're centered. And I just baste this into place right here. Then you can layer it up just like that, batting first, one of these pretty side face up, and then the other one pretty side face down, just like this. And the same way that we did with the pillow, once you flip the whole thing inside out, it'll look like that. The only thing that you'll need to do is to actually stitch down the pocket because it'll still be loose. To do that, we're gonna quilt it, basic straight stitch, right here. Make sure that they come in to grab the pocket. And you go all the way down. Now remember, all the instructions and the pattern sizes you need are on the website, and this is a super great project. I hope you'll give it a try.